The black MacBook is iconic, historic. I'm going to show you how to make yours look like the old days. Let's get started. If black's not really your thing, you can change it to any color you want, well, virtually, thanks to the magic of Plasti Dip. Now, this stuff is awesome. It is a rubberized coating, it's a rubberized paint that is user removable, super cheap, like $8, and comes in tons of different color variants. So once you've got your Plasti Dip, you're gonna need to clean your Mac really, really well. I'm talking super, super well. Make sure there's no fingerprints, no gunk, no grime, nothing. As clean as it was when you got it out of the store. I would recommend using an ammonia-free based glass cleaner, but do it how you may. Once you've done that, there is the necessity to mask the part of the computer that you want to paint. I'm only going to paint the lid, but if you're brave, you could undo the whole computer and paint literally anything you want. You can do two-tone kind of stuff with Plasti Dip. It's really cool. I decided just to paint the lid, but you can do it pretty much however way you want. Now, one thing to note about Plasti Dip is the way that you paint it. If you go to dipyourcard.com, you'll be able to see how to apply it smoothly, how to apply it coarsely. I wanted a more rough, rigid kind of sandpapery texture, and that's the way you saw my computer look. Now, if you want a really baby butt smooth surface, you can do that as well, and there are instructions on how to apply each coating to get that kind of finish on dipyourcard.com. But to get the coating and the finish that I chose, which is the slightly coarse finish, I would recommend doing two really, really light coatings. Super, super light. Let them dry about 20 minutes in between coatings. It's a little bit, antsy. You're going to want to do it out of direct sunlight, and you're going to do it in a room with pretty much solid temperature. Now, you can see now I'm on the third coat. On the third, fourth, I did 6 coats on my computer. You can apply the spray a lot more thickly. Now, once you've done all the coats that you want to, whether it be 1, 2, 6, 100, you choose, you're able to demask the computer. Now, you can see it's still pretty wet. When I'm doing this right now, this is about 30 minutes after my last coat. And you're going to want to do this before it fully dries, because once it fully dries, it's a little bit harder to get off. It's not hard to get off by any means, and that's the reason this thing is so cool, is you can literally remove it anytime you want. But if you do this about 30 minutes after your last coat and you make your last coat really thick, you can use a credit card to go around and kind of touch up areas that you don't want paint to be existent. It's a little bit harder to do once the paint is dried. Still pretty easy, but the main thing is the Apple logo. Once the paint is dried, it's a lot harder to remove the Apple logo from the center. But if it's still kind of gooey and kind of wet, just use a toothpick or a screwdriver or something to pull the paint up in the middle of the Apple logo, and then you can really just peel it off like gross old dead skin after a sunburn, and it'll come right up, which is great. After you've peeled everything off the computer that you want and you've made it look the way you want, you're going to want to let it set for at least 24 hours out of direct sunlight in a room that is room temperature. That is very important, because if it doesn't dry properly, it will not look cool at all. As you can see right now, it doesn't look that great, but the finished product does. So make sure you let it dry a sufficient amount of time. I let mine dry about 26 hours before I powered it back on. And once it's finished, it will look really, really great. You can do it, again, once I said, smoothly. You can have a coarse finish. It's totally up to you. It stays on really well. You'll be able to go months without this thing even showing signs of tear and wear. It's awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.